They say every day is for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. But ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has reversed the role. It is now every day for the owner of the house. If you're involved in bribery, over-invoicing, or any shady deal, the day of reckoning has come. ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is watching you. If you're reported for any corrupt practice, you'll be investigated, prosecuted, and punished. Corruption is harmful to our nation. Join the campaign against it by reporting any corrupt practice to ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Let we join hands with ICPC, make them better.
Let's make Nigeria great again.
ICPC, they watch you.
Come on, hand for corruption.
Break the chain of corruption now. Don't give, don't take. This message is brought to you by ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Welcome to Corruption Must Go, ICPC's weekly television program. I am Hawa Garba. The International Anti-Corruption Day, which is usually observed on 9th December every year, since the passage of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption on 31st October 2003, is to raise public awareness on corruption and its related issues. This year's celebration is quite significant for ICPC as it provided an opportunity for the Commission to showcase its laudable corruption prevention initiative known as the Corruption Risk Assessment, CRA, through the flagging of a training workshop for heads of anti-corruption agencies in African Union countries by President Muhammadu Buhari, who is the African Union Anti-Corruption Champion 2018. President Buhari used the opportunity to unveil the report of CRA conducted on Nigerians' e-government systems, such as Treasury Single Account, TSA, Government Integrated Financial Management Information System, GIVMIX, and Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System, IPPIS.
Yes, the delegates, the participants.
Some of the heads of anti-corruption agencies of African Union countries participating spoke on their expectations from the training.
First of all, it's a great honor to be here, to be invited to such an event, and really our expectations about this training is to develop, to enhance our experience, knowing that risk management is a special approach that we are ongoing in Morocco in many fields, and I hope that this training will help me and help us to develop more our approach, our experience, our knowledge in this field, and to develop and to diffuse this knowledge in my country, Morocco.
Thank you very much.
I expect to learn a lot on how to train trainers to be carrying out corruption risk assessments back in our country, Kenya. I expect to learn about the curriculum which caters across all institutions, which is actually applicable. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It's special that we have in South Africa, as we have our own tools and methodologies in fighting corruption. We currently are conducting vulnerability sector risk assessment on various sectors of the state organs, and currently, as we here, want to see what are the tools that are available that are used by other countries, especially Nigeria, to benchmark with other countries, so we can see what can we take back from home that we can enhance our processes and tools in terms of risk assessment for fraud and corruption.
Well, as you know, that capacity building in African countries is a serious issue. If we have an opportunity where the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the African Union are joining together to bring together head of institutions to be trained on corruption risk assessments, it will help in developing capacity so that we can go back and have knowledge transfer among our staff and the people who work with us.
In other activities to commemorate this day, the Interagency Task Team that includes the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, and other sister agencies in Abuja and in some states across the country, with the Technical Unit on Governance and Anti-Corruption, TUGA, organized a workshop to sensitize the general public against corruption. We bring you highlights of the event.
It is agreed that corruption is one of the socio-economic malaise that has affected most nations of the world, particularly Nigeria. And during the electoral process, some things as buying of votes, bribery of electoral officers, outright manipulation of the process, ballot box snatching are all part of the things that will engage our discussion.
A major positive development in the anti-corruption agenda is the adoption of the National Anti-Corruption Strategy, NSCS, in 2017. The strategy has 5 pillars which speak to international good practices for combating corruption as well as local peculiarities. There are prevention of corruption, enforcement of sanctions, public enlightenment, ethical orientation, and recovery of proceeds of corruption.
What we seem to have had being mentioned about vote buying will qualify under what the Act defines as bribery and gratification. And there is usually a thin line between. Bribery usually before the action is done, I induce you and say, I want you to act this way.
Joy is standing by with updates on happenings in the commission. Over to you, Joy.
A former member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Onodeko Onamusi, has been charged to court by ICPC over his alleged involvement in the award and execution of a 68.7 million naira contract. Onamusi, who was arraigned before Justice C.N. Oji of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Apo, Abuja, on an 18-count charge, was accused by the Commission of using his private company, Haynes and Baines, to execute several contracts for the National Assembly while working as a senior legislative aide in the same place. ICPC told the court that several contracts for buying ambulance vehicles, supply of hospital equipment, and drugs for primary health centers, as well as construction of classrooms for some selected schools in 6 communities of Ogun East Senatorial District, were awarded to Haynes and Baines, where the senior legislative aide doubles as a managing director. The charge sheet revealed that Onamusi received contracts in November 2016 from the National Assembly for the construction of blocks of 3 classrooms at Odogbolu Grammar School, Ogun East, Ijebu Imoshin Comprehensive High School, Ijebu East, United Anglican Primary School, Iworo, Ijebu North East, and St. Barnabas Anglican Primary School, Ilishan, Ogun East, at the total cost of 43.6 million naira. Onamusi did not admit guilt when the counts were read to him. His counsel, Wahab Olatoye, pleaded with the court to grant him bail to enable him attend to his health, having just returned from England where he had gone to seek medical attention. However, ICPC counsel Ephraim Oti objected to the bail application, citing instances where the accused had earlier jumped administrative bail granted to him by the commission. He told the court that it took ICPC more than 1 year to track down the accused. Justice Oji, after listening to the arguments, ruled that the accused remain in the custody of his counsel pending the bail ruling. In a related development, ICPC has quizzed the Director of Agriculture, Abuja Municipal Area Council, AMAC, Mr. Ishaya Ruben Wia, and other top management staff of the council for allegedly receiving 9.3 million naira bribe from a contractor. The commission has also interrogated the Chief of Staff to AMAC Chairman, Mr. Tanko Ibrahim Likita, for allegedly receiving 1.8 million naira as part of his share of the bribe money. The bribe money allegedly received by the council staff was part of kickbacks from an 89 million naira contract for the supply of tractors awarded in 2016 by AMAC to Mars International Equipment Limited. ICPC, during investigation, discovered that Mr. Weah received 9.3 million naira as bribe from Mars International Equipment Limited through his Guarantee Trust Bank account immediately after the contract was awarded. Thereafter, the director went ahead to illegally distribute the alleged contract proceeds to others, including the Chief of Staff to the Council Chairman. Meanwhile, ICPC has helped the company to recover 22 million naira as part of the contract sum owed by the Council. The Commission also directed the Council to ensure complete payment of the balance before the end of 2018. The Chairman Senate Committee on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes, Senator Chukwuka Utazi, has commended the efforts of ICPC in the fight against corruption, even as he charged the Commission to enhance its efforts to rid the nation of corrupt practices. He made the commendation during an oversight visit to ICPC headquarters recently. The senator, who listened to ICPC Acting Chairman Dr. Musa Usman Abubakar as he presented the scorecard of the Commission for the year 2018, promised to cause the Senate to expedite action on the amendment proposals to the Commission's enabling law, including the one to allow it to retain some percentage of the value of its recoveries in order to strengthen it financially. He also noted that the purpose of the visit was to fulfill the constitutional function of oversight for monies appropriated in 2018 budget, assess the Commission's level of performance of its budgetary allocation, ascertain the Commission's challenges, and identify areas of need in order to ensure its smooth operations.
I think this is part of the reason, part of the things we are going to do, amendment of the Act. Okay. Just like we are doing for EFCC, a retention of a certain percentage, so that you can do something. You see, so just note it, we are going to propose amendment, just like we are doing for EFCC. You have to get certain percentages so that you do your job. Let's say certain percentage you can do basic things, buy a vehicle. Why should vehicle be an issue of buying a vehicle? You can do high purchase, pick up to 5 vehicles. Once you are generating income, you certain percentage you'll be paying. And you have the vehicles and you do your job. That's the way it should be done. Yes.
Earlier in his presentation, the ICPC Acting Chairman gave a breakdown of the Commission's 2018 budget performance based on funds released and mentioned some of its achievements, to include convictions secured and recoveries of monies which had been transferred to the government treasury single account.
Another discovery we made was the non-remittance by ASO Savings of the proceeds of sale of government properties of 9.8 billion naira. 9.8 billion naira.
Okay.
Yes, you know, from 2010 to 2014. And when we confronted the bank, they said they do not have liquid cash to make a payment to the TSA, but they are now offering us properties in lieu of, the money. So at the moment, we are trying to engage, you know, valuers to ascertain the value of the property. We also found some, non-remittance by the same bank. One is 2.2 million US dollars being revenue from embassies paid, supposed to be paid to FCTA, which were also not remitted to the TSA. Another amount we found was 82.5 million naira, also domiciled in ASO Savings, which was not also transferred to TSA. Again, as a result of our intervention, we also found 213 million naira in a Zenith Bank account, in favor of Federal University of Agriculture, which was also, in contravention of the TSA policy. As a result of our intervention, the money has now been, transferred to TSA.
All of them?
Yeah, 213 have been transferred to TSA, and we informed the central bank to place a lien on the money so that the university will not have access to the money, because we believe the money was part of the 2017, was part of the earlier, budget, which was moved into that account. In addition to this, we also, investigated fake certificates in public service. We are assigned, a job of verifying 40,000 personnel certificates. So far, we've gone far, and we have found a number of people with fake certificates in the public service, particularly the Federal Ministry of Interior.
Thereafter, the acting chairman, accompanied by ICPC's management team, took the committee members on a tour of the Commission's detention center, interrogation room, forensic laboratory, and other facilities within the premises of the headquarters. That will be all on this segment. Corruption Must Go continues. Stay with us.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, madam.
My name is Alero. I am not sick. I just need you to help put your stamp on this medical report. I want to tender it at my office as a sick leave. I'll pay 10,000 naira.
Ma'am, that is impersonation. I'm not a doctor.
Oga, be like say this English no go pay. I go increase the money to 20,000 naira. I beg. If I give you that 20,000, as you wide so, if it still help your condition more. So you don't say you spread well.
As I spread like virus, I'll be.
You talk.
Come out! If first you come to the hospital, talk to make you give a fake medical report, make you go take collect sick leave. Talk and say no, not corruption. Not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
NEPAD, under the African Union, New Partnership for Africa's Development, is an organ of African Union. And in Nigeria, we have launched the Violence-Free Election Sensitization Program in partnership with anti-corruption agencies. And one message we are sending out is shun violence, shun vote buying, and vote wisely.
If you are just tuning in, this is Corruption Must Go. According to an annual estimate by the United Nations, $3.6 trillion are paid in bribes or stolen globally through corruption, which equals more than 5% of global GDP. The total amount of money lost due to corruption has been quite disturbing and required immediate preventive measures if the UN Sustainable Development Goals were to be achieved. These and many other factors led to the forging of a common international front to fight corruption and sensitize people against it. One of such fronts has been to observe a day dedicated to creating awareness among government officials and the general public. The theme for this year's celebration of the International Anti-Corruption Day is Corruption, an Impediment to Sustainable Development Goals. This is therefore a call on governments, the private sector, and the general public to unite against and jointly tackle the scourge of corruption by changing attitudes and taking action against the problem. At a workshop titled Taking Corruption Out of the Electoral Process, held in Abuja as part of events marking this year's celebration of the day, the head International Cooperation Unit, ICPC, had this to say.
The 9th of December annually is observed as the day for the world to commemorate anti-corruption activities, and it was at the instance of the passage of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption since 2003. It means that since 2003, annually, 9th of December has been the day declared for International Anti-Corruption Day. Directly or indirectly, I think the day is very significant for ICPC, contributing to achieving its mandate in the sense that you know that ICPC has three-pronged mandate. I mean, to receive petitions from members of the public, investigate and prosecute, as the case may be, to review systems and prevent corruption generally, and of course, to enlist the support of members of the public while educating them. So these three main mandates of the ICPC needs to be constantly reviewed, and you need to secure the buy-in of members of the public and generally create awareness. So this particular day, 9th of every December, every year, is an opportunity for ICPC to review its activities along those three mandates. It's an opportunity for ICPC to give account of its activities along those three mandates. So that members of the public will be aware of what ICPC has been doing in the last, say 365 days. So it's a day for ICPC to even build further consensus with members of the public on the way, the next level of the fight against corruption. You review the past activities for the past year, you engage them on the way forward. So it's a very significant day for ICPC. Rendering its scorecard and giving account to members of the public on that day.
Let's hear from the representative of the IATC and TUGA also on the event.
This is an awareness-raising event and a day for reflection and introspection. So what we discuss here today, the people we have sensitized, we will take forward in the fight against corruption.
I think the day provides a unique opportunity to really galvanize all forces in society, from civil society over government, over private sector, over the youth, to come together and make corruption part of the national dialogue, to really shine the light on the issue of corruption and reinforce the fight against corruption, and like that keep the issue of anti-corruption on the forefront of the political discourse in any country.
The observance of an international event on corruption reassures people from all walks of life across the globe that a corruption-free society is possible if they work in unison. It musters in them the courage to speak up against corruption rather than becoming silent prey to the monster. Every time you raise your voice against corruption, you are contributing to the progress of humanity and helping lay the foundation for a stable, healthy, and happy nation. Consider how you can make a difference today. Make sure you report corruption that you have experienced or witnessed by calling ICPC on 0800 call ICPC. Help spread the word. That's our package on this week's edition. You can watch the program on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/ICPC Nigeria. See you again next week. Bye for now.